We are on the monorail heading to the Magic Kingdom to canvass many updates from the Emporium to Big Thunder, from the Astro Orbiter to the new DVC lounge, McKim's Mile House. In the process, we'll check on all sorts of construction activity at Pirates and other places, visit a number of shops throughout the park, and take in Gaston's Tavern, where we'll try some new tasty treats. Join us here in the Magic Kingdom. It looks to be a beautiful day here at the Magic Kingdom. It's been raining the last several days, and it looks to be pretty sunny and hot in the next few days to come, but today looks gorgeous. So it's a good time to go check out the Magic Kingdom and see some things we haven't seen in a while, and find out what's coming soon. Let's just begin here at Town Square, and you can see it is a sunny and beautiful day. Town Square really looks quite lovely. There are always perennial plants, but it seems like they've put in some more temporary flowers for the springtime. Not quite what Disneyland does, but still impressive. We hop into the train station, and I love this because we're going to be talking about places to just enjoy a few minutes, to just really relax somewhere in the park rather than having to be in a lounge. And this is one of those places. In fact, the kids can join and check out one of these little arcade machines. They're usually free, and kind of see the pictures within them. The train platform is a great place to kind of get a glimpse of the Main Street Theater. At this angle, you can see that it's quite large and quite deep in the back. That's actually because the original design of this facility was intended to be a hotel, not a theater. In time, they decided not to go with that approach, but there could have been actually hotel rooms in the back. Would have been really cool. And now we see the train coming on into the station, so hey, it's a great time to climb aboard, and we're going to head over to Frontierland.
Welcome aboard, folks. We're beginning a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom, with stops along the way in Frontierland and Fantasyland.
If you haven't ridden the Walt Disney World train in a while, you will probably notice that there is a whole new narrative that accompanies our journey around the Magic Kingdom. I am going to actually take the train all the way around, but for our purposes today, I want to just take a few moments at the train station and Frontierland to talk about Big Thunder Mountain, the construction going on, and to see that progress as we pull out of the station. So again, hang on there. Don't let your hands and arms go outside the train, and we will be at the station momentarily.
Come true. See, there was a time not so long ago that I was just a young fella on Main Street with a balloon in my hand and a wishing that someday I'd be the conductor of this train. And wouldn't you know it, with a bit of gumption and a dash of magic, here I am. So believe it when I say that around here, anything is possible. Now, if you're more the rootin' tootin' type, then partner, saddle up, cause this here's Frontierland. Home to cowpokes, campfires, and country bears, this outpost is chock full of tall tales and an even taller mountain. We call it Big Thunder. Catch a ride on its runaway trains and you'll see why. On a more musical note, just ahead, Princess Tiana is striking up the band for her big party. She made me promise to tell you folks, you're invited. We've reached Frontierland Station, everyone, so sit tight and hold those horses until we've come to a complete stop.
You may recall going on the railroad through the tunnel when it was Splash Mountain, seeing the finale there. You still see the finale of Princess Tiana and her Jubilee event. For whatever reason, the windows seem to fog a lot more, and so it's a little harder to see that. But notwithstanding, we are coming into the Frontierland train station, and it gives us a chance to take a look at something from a different perspective. You can't see a whole lot from the front other than a big crane here at Big Thunder Mountain. There is a wonderful little sign that talks about, well, I'll just read it to you. Notice Big Thunder Mountain Railroad closed until further notice by order of Barnabas T. Bullion, founder and president of Big Thunder Mining Company. Questions or concerns may be addressed to you. Be patient. But what I really wanted to point out here at the train station, if you look behind the restrooms there at Tiana's and the train station, you'll see that there's a large building going up. What it appears to be, as we move out of the train station and look toward the left, is that it actually is a new train shed. It's a roundhouse, so to speak, very intimate station for actually holding the trains for Big Thunder Mountain. It has always been in that location. It's a little surprising that it's that high off the in height. It's usually been a lot shorter in size, but notwithstanding, that is what seems to be what is happening back there behind that section of the park. And then as we turn around and we look toward Big Thunder Mountain itself, we see construction of not just the train rails themselves, but you can see the little town being reconstructed. A lot of attention is being paid toward all of the details that make up the attraction. Even you'll see some newer cactus as we go by that have been put into the ground. So there's a lot that's going on here. Beyond that, as we cross the river and on the bridge, and we head in toward the depths of Frontierland, looking toward the left or the right, you see very little construction that seems to be going on in this area, or preparation for construction. It all seems to be very much the way it's always been. We have not had an announcement for when this area is going to close, though they seem to have gotten all their permits in order. My guess, and it's only a guess, is that it will probably be sometime this end of summer.
These woods, hiking trails, bird calls, fireflies, and starry nights. Setting out for adventure at sunrise and telling the tale around a campfire that night. Considering how wonderful things are out here, I'm fortunate that some of my closest friends call it home. That village is a truly special place.
Yeah, I think the conductor pretty well summed it up. It is a pretty special place, and yet all of it seems to be transforming within the weeks, months, and years to come. At any rate, let's move on to Fantasyland.
Where magic. Listen. Hear that?
There it is! On that big metal snake!
Peter, that's not a snake. It's a train.
Train, huh? Well, I think it's finally time I trained my shadow to stay put! Hey! Get back here, Shadow! Shadow!
Oh, Tinkerbell, we really must find some stronger friends.
Told you it's enchanted, and not just the forest. From the tips of castle spires to the sands under the sea, magic and happily ever afters await around every corner in Fantasyland.
That kind of magic is especially true coming this summer, because if you know magician Terry Ward, former Streetmosphere character at Disney's Hollywood Studios, he's actually going to be appearing as part of the Big Top Bash at Storybook Circus. There's going to be a kind of DJ ringmaster and a summertime dance partner. They're going to have characters like Pluto and Midway style games and so forth happening inside Big Top Souvenirs, and it's going to be part of their summer offering. And it's going to happen right here at Storybook Circus in Fantasyland.
For those disembarking, please watch your step, and thanks for traveling with us. I hope you'll join us again real soon. If you're staying aboard, our next stop is Main Street Station.
That's where we're headed to next, Main Street Station, where we'll go down Main Street and check out some things. So we're back in Town Square, and we're looking at the Main Street Theater. We talked about this building being a hotel prior. Take a look and consider what's missing from this. You see banners that promote being able to see Mickey, and as you step inside, you see those same banners in curtain form again, saying "Come meet Mickey Mouse." And then, as you look into the area where you queue, notice that there is not one, but there are two stations where you actually pass through to enter into that queue. Here's the reality of it: is that since COVID, there has been no return of Tinkerbell, who was in the back portion. And again, this is a very deep building. Mickey is in the front portion, but Tinkerbell was in the back portion doing meet and greet, and it was pretty amazing. Unfortunately, we've not yet seen that return. We're walking by Tony's Town Square restaurant. Did you know this used to be sponsored by Oscar Mayer, and it was really more of a breakfast venue called Town Square Cafe, where you could come and sit on the patio and enjoy the morning as crowds were coming into the park. Unfortunately, that's no longer there, and even breakfast doesn't happen anymore. It's now really about Italian food. Hey, let's go on ahead and move to the confectionery. And I just got to, there's so many choices here, and they're really good ones. But I got to tell you, my wife is going crazy about this make your own popcorn mix that's available there. That's kind of been put in about a year or two ago. And she gets all of these different flavors. It's really quite a good value for what you purchase, and keeps her munching throughout the day. She loves that opportunity to just grab a quick little kernel or two as she goes through the park, and of course I grab my share as well. It's what a great little confectionery that's been built here. Next door at the cinema, this is a little more disappointing. I've never really liked what they've done. I kind of liked at the 50th that they had anniversary kind of merchandise. Right now it's hats, which they also sell back at Town Square, but they do have these little assemble your own miniature ears with little Velcro attachments for the ears. It's about $9 something for the ear band and about $11 something for each of the ears. That sounds really expensive to me when I look at it, despite all the different choices that they have. Conversely, I took a look at the actual selection of ears that are completely prepared next door, and they're pretty expensive too. They're really up there in the $35, $36 range. So let's take a turn down Center Street. It's a little quiet right now. We talked about places to kind of just get away and enjoy a little bit of a quiet break, and people often notice the red and white umbrellas, tables, and chairs. There aren't a lot of those, but there are some to enjoy. But beyond the tables and chairs, if you take a closer look, you'll actually see that there are also a number of benches that you can just grab a seat, especially if you're alone or just with another person. They're kind of hidden away and tucked away there, but again, they're in the shade and makes it all part of a more enjoyable stay to just take a break from the heat and the traffic. Take a look at the storefronts along Main Street, USA, the portion which largely is the Emporium minus Casey's there on the corner. When you actually step inside, the construction that's been going on has been actually an effort to really just enlarge the space there, not make it bigger, but to be able to see from one side of the room to the other, like a lot of people do in their own houses. One of the problems is it's been kind of fractured over years, and a lot of people didn't know there were portions of the store, and they'd missed it. And so that is being opened up right now. They're in the front portion of the Emporium, trying to enlarge that area there. It really is making it a lot easier to pass through and make it more accessible. We are going to make our way through the hub, past Cinderella Castle, down Liberty Square, and into Frontierland, where we are going to the former location of the shooting gallery, which has now become McKim's Mile House. McKim is named after Sam McKim, a former Imagineer and actually a child actor who performed in westerns before he became an artist at 20th Century Fox and moved to Disney. This has now become a brand new DVC lounge, and it's really nicely appointed. There is a long wait to get in, And, well, at least in the first months of getting into this attraction, you're assigned a seat when you get in. There's refreshments available for DVC guests as they visit. And it's a really great way to get out of the heat of the day, or perhaps the thunderstorm or rain that might be. But of course, you have to keep in mind that it comes with a price. So that's probably why we've been talking about other places you can visit without having to pay too much. Turning the corner from Frontierland over to Adventureland, we pass by the Golden Oak Outpost, and clearly they have struck gold, because look at the line of people who are waiting to grab beignets at this little kiosk. And there's also some chicken that they sell and so forth, but the key thing I think people are walking away with are the beignets. Frankly, it's not my favorite and not as good as the ones at Disneyland. And by the way, there's one in Salt Lake City Airport that's even better. Anyway, let's go to Adventureland. The sign has been replaced between Frontierland and Adventureland, and we are heading right into Caribbean Plaza. But you're going to notice that what used to be on the right is now on the left, and that is all of the crystal arts that you usually see. That's been always a wagon. Now there's an open space allowing more free flow of traffic in and out of the gift shop. Why is that happening? Because, well, the gift shop has lost a lot of its space, and it's pushed backwards in order to allow for the new tavern that's being built. And of course, that new tavern is known as the Beak and the Barrel. The beak actually references the one-legged parrot that used to be in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, inviting guests to come on board. According to the story, the Beak and Barrel was established by Captain Mary Goldwyn and is overseen by Rummy, her chatty parrot quartermaster. And apparently this hideaway is going to hold a trove of stories, treasures, and magical mysteries. For most people, they know this space because this used to be where you could go and have a pirate makeover done. Now it has been changed out to be this new tavern, and they've pushed the walls back, reducing the size of the gift shop to allow enough space to make that happen. Perhaps this sign out in front of Pirates League says it all. It's one of those quotes they put on the construction wall. It says, "Not all treasures silver and gold, mate." Well, we shall see from the Beak and the Barrel. Scheduled to open later in 2025. Reservations may start sooner than later. Meanwhile, what's happening across the way at Tortuga Tavern? Well, frankly, not much of anything. The menu or signage says, go on over to Pecos Bill's if you want a meal. The area had done some construction work, I think maybe on the flooring, but you wouldn't notice a lot of things going on. There is that little internal space, but that has been closed off, and you're not able to go into it. If you look up into the rafters, it's kind of really cool because you'll find that there's a sign talking about El Pirata y el Perico, which was the original signage for this restaurant. The Pirate and the Parrot kind of comes back to, again, the Beak and the Barrel. It's all part of that pirate lore, I suppose. We'll see where this actually goes as the days and months move on. But it is one of the great little spaces to cool off, refresh. I like to get my pineapple Dole Whip, come over around the corner from the Enchanted Tiki Room, and just take a nice quiet break in a hot summer afternoon. Speaking of the Enchanted Tiki Room, I just grabbed the new book, Before the Birds Sang Words, from Ken Bruce. What a volume! What a heavy volume, dealing with the first major animatronic show, the Enchanted Tiki Room. It's got some great stories in it, and I hope to share some. Check out that book if you haven't gotten a copy of it. Meanwhile, we're going to head over to Gaston's Tavern. It has been some time since I've had a chance to visit Gaston's Tavern and really take it in. LeFou's Brew was the thing that was really made popular. It's actually a specialty drink that started at the Crazy Cone in Cars Land at Disneyland. It was Disney's way of competing against the butterbeer concept. that was made famous with Harry Potter. Didn't quite work to that level, but it was a tasty treat. Any rate, I went in and took a look at the menu and was quite surprised to find some new items. I was familiar with the warm cinnamon roll. That's my son's favorite. And the gray stuff cupcake. That's a great way to get the gray stuff if you're not going to the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. But there also is a ham and Gruyere tart, which is crispy croissant dough topped with ham and Gruyere cheese, served with chips. And then a creme brulee croissant, which was a crispy croissant dough filled with vanilla bean custard. How could you not go wrong with crispy croissant dough? At any rate, both of them were absolutely tasty and amazing. And you know, it was kind of fun to have that LeFou's brew again. It had been a long while. By the way, you'll notice when you are in this establishment, all of the antlers and mounted trophies of animals and so forth. When the restaurant first opened, it didn't have real stuffed animals. It really had smaller kind of sculpted animals. That actually goes back to a story of Walt Disney. When he was building the Grand Canyon Concourse, they were going to use a taxidermist to put in all these animals into the Grand Canyon. When he opened the freezer one day, he was surprised to find this frozen carcass of a wolf in there. He just turned around and said, "This is not what we should have in a family setting such as this." And so they used synthetic fur and so forth to actually create the animals and to build out what was the Grand Canyon Concourse. That's why you see this clearly showing that this is not real animals that are up on the wall. And by the way, that story actually comes from Before the Birds Sang Words, that Ken Bruce book that I actually talked about. Let's move from this space on past Enchanted Tales of Belle on our way to Tomorrowland. A lot of people don't know about this attraction, which allows you to step through a magical mirror into the Beast Library and to have a one-on-one with Belle. It is such a lovely, charming experience, but it is also kind of a sleeper hit because a lot of people don't know it. So next time, check it out if you haven't already. Hey, we're in Tomorrowland. And as we do so, we notice that the Astro Orbiter, well, not looking pretty good because it's still being reconstructed after having been completely removed and taken down. When we board the People Mover, we can actually see how this is being done because this is such a big piece of equipment that is going through. And in fact, as we pass by the Progress City model that you find on the People Mover, and as we turn the corner from there, we actually go past a presentation of a couple of droids in a space station, so to speak, and one of them is actually seated on a rocket. And that is one of the former rockets of the Astro Orbiter. Originally, of course, this attraction was called Rocket Jets, but it has the ability to sail around the different moons and so forth, and it looks really cool, both during the day and also at night. But before we get into how that's done, let's check out a couple of other little things that are going on here in Tomorrowland. As we pass by Tron, don't you wish our People Mover could kind of weave in and out past that track and underneath the canopy? That would be so cool. But it does allow us to look down and pay attention to a really great gift shop that actually kind of went from worst to being one of the best in the park. I love the look inside of this. I love the oranges and blues. It gives me a real 60s vibe, a kind of mid-century vibe. I can't believe that this used to actually be a very retired, dreaded-looking retail establishment. Remember when it actually used to have arcade games? Now it's got lots of interesting merchandise and even a little space where you can grab a seat and enjoy the air conditioning inside. I'm telling you, I can find you all of the places to take a break in this place. So actually check it out when you have a chance to visit this shop. While our people mover moves toward Buzz Lightyear, I could not be more excited about the new show scene, the updated ride vehicles, and the gameplay enhancements. When you're going to begin the ride and you come in that first circular area, you're going to be greeted by a robot named Buddy. They're going to help you kind of prepare for your mission. Buddy's going to provide you with an opportunity to hone your blaster in, learn to aim, check out some new interactive targets, and so forth. Any improvements that could be made to this attraction could not be more welcomed. It's overdue by probably about 15 years. And to see these kinds of changes come in is going to make Tomorrowland all the better. I hope in particular they spend a little bit of time focusing on the exterior, which frankly has kind of a cheap, should I say, Universal Studios kind of look to it. It doesn't impress me. And I think they would do well to alter that as well as so many other components of the attraction. I know people will respond favorably and positively when that occurs. So rounding the turn and heading back to the Tomorrowland Astro Orbiter station, well, we have an opportunity to check out how it is that they're able to rebuild this massive spinner attraction in the middle of Tomorrowland and make it happen. And what you'll find is that there is actually a massive collapsible crane that they're able to actually move upwards and carry all this heavy stuff and put it back into place as each of the pieces are reassembled onto the Astro Orbiter. And in the meantime, it's kind of kept tucked away. It's not like the Frontierland one, which is just zooming way in the sky. You can see that from the TTC. This one actually stays very compact and down low behind some fencing there in Tomorrowland. Hopefully, by the time we do our next update on Magic Kingdom, we'll be able to see the whole Astro Orbiter back in action again. Well, let's head off of the People Mover, and we're going to head out of the park. And in this case, the fireworks are just getting underway in just a few minutes. So we're going to go in that back passageway behind Main Street. It's really an efficient way of moving people when guests are just crowded and clustered on Main Street. If you're not aware of this, if you haven't seen this before, this is something to take advantage of when those kids are tired, when you're exhausted, when your feet hurt, and you are ready to go home. It is just a great way to get out of the park and get back to the monorails and the boats and the buses. Well, this concludes our total update of the Magic Kingdom, and we'll be back with other park updates. Wanted to end on a really positive note. Literally, several positive notes actually, because we're going to rewind the day and go back to Casey's Corner, where the pianist is there on Main Street, and he is going to play a little medley from Peter Pan. I think you'll enjoy it. Meanwhile, have a great day. Set your focus on the second star to the right, and hang in there. Always follow the compass of your heart. Have a great day. We'll see you real soon.